What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, it is Wednesday, which means the new summit is now live here at Motorfest. For this week, we are going to have the Steel Stallions, which, if you did guess it, is going to be primarily based on motorcycles. With that is going to get us the uncommon Sparks Nitro, the BMW R1200 GS, some legendary parts, and 5,000 spare parts after that. We're then going to have the Rally Beast, which is going to be the Ford Fiesta Red Bull Edition, which is legit going to be a Ford Fiesta with a livery on it. And I would say it does look fairly decent, but again, nothing too insanely special there. After that, we're going to have the Coil Effect Smoke, which I would say is pretty dope looking. 200,000 bucks, then 200,000 XP after that. Quick thing here, if you are wondering, the lovely thing that we are going to be getting as the platinum reward, the Sparks Nitro, is not going to be new, guys. This is going to be an old Crew 2 Vanity, and it's also an uncommon one. So I'm probably going to guess and say players might not want to do a full bike summit for an old vanity item from the Crew 2. As I did mention before, this is going to be primarily based on racing, motocross, and rally raid. Basically 2 events of each one there. We're then going to have an escape with the Suzuki GSX-RR. We're then going to have a no restriction slalom, which is going to be powerboat. And then finally a speed trap that you have to use a bike on. The first one here is going to be an escape for this, guys. It's honestly very straightforward. All I did was start off on the Suzuki GSX-R, turned around a bit, went right toward the objective, followed that down to the road as far as I can go, drove off, basically until the thing did end up hitting me toward the water. Got around 3,500 yards. Honestly, it was fairly straightforward. Not really going to try hard that for a few thousand points. Don't really see the overall point. No pun intended to do that. We're then going to have a slalom here. You will have to use a powerboat. I got 152,600 points on this one, with a total score of 8,556 overall points. On this, I also was not using a score breaker. I used a Nitro Chemist set with Skilled on it, and I still have 152,000 points. And as always, guys, for the previous summits, no pro settings and no full part sets on any of them. For every single race in this summit, I did end up using a Loot Digger set with an occasional buck set in there as well. For all these skills, I don't use any score breakers or any Nitro Chemist for anything. For example, on the SpeedTrap, I use a buck set. Also, all you guys have to use on this is going to be the Ninja H2. I don't know why some vehicles are so much better than other ones. But funny thing is, this bike legit does 234.7 miles an hour. Basically fully stock. I use a buck set on it. If you're going to try a different bike, like for example the Suzuki GSX, well, that thing does like 223 miles an hour, so yeah, it's way slower. Pretty much jump onto the H2, and that is basically it on the SpeedTrap. Besides all of that, though, now moving over to the events, the first one here is going to be a motocross vehicle owned, and I would say players are probably going to pretty much not like this event more than any of the other ones. I did end up getting around 2 minutes and 40 seconds on this one. I got around 2 minutes and 49 seconds my first run, but I was like, no, 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 I can do much better on it. So a few things on this event, guys, I have to point out right now that's going to help. For one, I would say everyone does know this, but avoid the water, guys. It's going to make you insanely slow. When you are going over the jumps, hit the nitrous a bit. Try to get over the water as much as you can. And in some places, even jump over it completely. Avoid some of the jumps, because they will make you slower if you don't have to hit them. And also with that, though, another tip I can recommend is a lot of the areas on this race, and specifically some of them, you can easily take the water. It might be tempting to do it. I can highly recommend, guys, stay on the beach or at least avoid the water. That is going to be your best bet of probably getting the best time on this event, because I would say players are probably not going to be a fan of this one. We're then going to have the Isle of Oahu, which is going to be a racing bike event. For this, you're probably going to notice the Ducati Panigale R is easily the best option looking at the leaderboard. And you probably most likely know what I did end up doing. And well, I personally use one of my favorite racing bikes, the Suzuki GSX-RR. Is it going to be better than the Panigale? Well, in some places probably not, but I really do like the way this bike handles, so I tried it out. Got 3 minutes and 16 seconds, probably wasn't like the greatest run, but also not the worst, and I would say this bike is easily going to be usable. this is going to be one of the like basic track focused things or a few laps around the area. I would say every player is going to recognize this event, and the biggest thing is getting around the corners as fast as possible. We're then going to have the impossible climb here with a rally raid bike. For me, I did end up using the KTM 450 Rally. Now, I do admit the BMW R1200 is probably going to be a way better option for it, pretty much in every single place. But again, I like using vehicles that make no sense, pretty much trying to make the game harder on myself. Why? I honestly have no idea, but I'm trying to make the summits more entertaining for myself, but also showing people that you can easily get into Platinum without the best vehicles, and well, I feel like it is easily going to be doable. Like, yeah, you're going to have less of a score not using pro settings or parts and all that, but you can still easily get a high enough score to get into Platinum and at least get some of these rewards, even if it's a Crew 2 one. So yeah, it's kind of worth a shot there. We're then going to have a Supercross race here, which is going to be with the lovely KTM 450 EXC, and that will end up being the Red Bull Edition, the Nighthawk, and the regular EXC on top of it. For me, I did end up using the Red Bull Edition. I would probably say you could use any of the bikes, probably like a preference thing. Is there going to be better options than others? Most likely the Nighthawk is amazing. I would also say the Red Bull is decent, but this event, guys, is also going to be an event we most likely have played on so many times in the past, so you are most likely going to recognize it fairly decently. And with this event, the biggest thing is again going to be the corners, getting around them in the right aspect, and always keeping your speed up going over some of the water things. And when you are jumping, do not be afraid to hit that nitrous a bit, also regaining your nitrous. Not having any part sets on it, you can still regain nitrous decently quick, having some of your legend points active on top of that. We're then going to have the Motorfest Motodrome there, which is going to be with the Suzuki GSX-RR. This is going to be a fairly long event. I got 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Definitely wasn't going to be the cleanest race out there, but I was like, you know what, let me jump into it. Let me just mess around a bit and see what I can get. Now, this is going to be one of the events on the Motorfest grounds, or at least on the track that is located there. Now, one of the biggest things I notice about this event, though, is the Suzuki is going to handle great. That's not going to be an issue, which is going to make every corner that much easier, which I would say is a big positive on it. The biggest issue I would say on this event, though, is probably going to be the AI on the final lap. For some odd reason, they keep messing up on that big first corner when you do end up jumping into the event. It's going to be like that big wall ride type of thing. For some odd reason, they like go around in circles on it. They kind of get in the way, and I had one lap where I hit them, costing me basically a few seconds easily when I ran into them. So, yeah, watch out for them on the final lap, guys. Probably the most annoying thing there. The final event, though, is going to be a fairly short one in the lovely KTM 450 Rally. In fact, this is going to be a very short race, easily under 2 minutes. I would say a lot of players are probably going to be happy to see this one after doing some of the other events in this summit. The biggest thing with this one, though, is basically getting around the corners quick, getting over the jumps, landing, always having a bit of nitrous to climb some of the hills, and also going down the hills will end up helping your speed as well with nitrous, so try to save some of that, guys, will be a great tip as well. Overall, though, it is going to be a bike-only focused playlist. As a bike guy myself, I did enjoy it, but I would say a lot of players are probably not going to be the biggest fan of this one. If you do have any questions, let me know in the comments below, but without further ado, let's jump right into this.